Welcome back! My name is ballerscuba. This is Video Games Over Time! We are still in 1986 and we are still in Defender of the Crown. Now this game is going to have a little bit of an introduction and it goes very quickly, so I'm not going to be able to read it, but I will try to summarize what we are going to see. First we have the cast, we have the Saxons, the Normans, and the ladies, and then we have a little bit of a story here. Basically, it's the year 1149, we're returning from the Crusades. The king is giving out gold and land, but one of the knights goes back to Sherwood Forest. That, of course, is Robin of Locksley, Robin Hood. He'll go over there. And then we get a choice of our character. And this is going to determine how we are going to play the game. This is kind of important to start, so let's kind of go through it and talk about what we're doing and why. So we have Wilfred of Ivanhoe here. I believe all of these are fictitious characters from the Ivanhoe novels, but I could be wrong about that. I know a lot of these characters are from Ivanhoe. Wilfred of Ivanhoe is from Ivanhoe. He's what a lot of people recommend for a first campaign, but I've been trying to do some work with him and it hasn't been working out well for me, so I'm going to skip him this time. There's basically three different ratings. There's strong, good, and average. So think of it instead as strong, average, and bad. Because that's how it ends up playing in the game. So, Wilfred of Ivanhoe has good leadership, good jousting, and average swordplay, which means that he's average, bad, in my mind. Then we have Cedric of Rotherwood. He is strong in leadership, good at jousting, and average at swordplay. We have Geoffrey Longsword. He is average at leadership, average at jousting, strong at swordplay. Then we have Wulfric the Wild, average leadership, strong jousting, average swordplay. So what does this all mean? So leadership is how strong your troops are going to perform as a result of your leadership skills. So this is for battles. Leadership. Jousting is pretty self-explanatory. That is for jousting. Swordplay is done for raids and for rescuing maidens. This is something that I might do a little of, but ultimately, I don't know. It's always just a little weird for me. I've tried to do it with Wilfred, and I have yet to be able to be successful. Maybe that's just because of his skill. So a lot of people recommend Wilfred to start. Some people recommend Cedric of Rotherwood to start. Some people recommend Geoffrey Longsword to start. Some people recommend Wulfric the Wild to start. It really just kind of depends on your style of play. If you are going for a jousting heavy run, then Wulfric is what you're going to want to do. I'm going to actually go with Geoffrey Longsword here, and I'm going to go with the strong sword play, and that will help me early on when it comes to raids. I just hope that nobody really starts a joust because Geoffrey is not very good at that. I'm not particularly good at jousting either. Hopefully I'm better at the sword play. So Geoffrey Longsword it is. Let's head in and see what we can do. Like I said, I've been playing this a little bit. I've been trying to figure out some things, and I've been doing a little bit of research to try to figure out what's going on. We start by meeting Robin of Locksley in Sherwood Forest. He tells you that the king has died due to an assassin, and the crown has disappeared. He also says that he's too old to deal with this, so you guys are going to have to fight it out, the Normans and the Saxons. But he'll only help you 3 times, and that is important to keep in mind. Alright, our income is 3, we have 9 treasure. It's October 1149, let's figure out where we are. I believe that our color will always be the same, this kind of light blue here. You can always tell because you've got the knight, well, a person on a horse, at least, in the area. So let's kind of get situated with ourselves here. So we'll read the map. That's how we're going to start. And we'll see Geoffrey Longsword. I'm not even going to try to pronounce anything Welsh, but this is where we are. We get 3 income per month, and we have 9 gold to start. Yeah, you don't get a lot in this game. All right, so that's us. We're kind of in the middle. All this kind of gray, brownish territory is empty, so we will try our best to deal with that. First, though, we want to take a look at this guy. This is Cedric of Rotherwood. He's got 3 gold per month, no vassals. Vassals are going to be in these empty territories. So Yorkshire here gets 2 gold per month, but it has 12 vassals. To be honest, I haven't figured out the use of the vassals in the game so far. I know what the manual told me, but I have not seen it happen. They're like, oh, they will help you get money and raise an army. And I'm like, but I don't see that. Once you get the vassals, that's kind of it. Lancashire, that's how I've been told to pronounce that, is over here, 4 gold per month, 6 vassals. What was this territory called? That was Cumbria, and then this is Yorkshire and Lancashire. 4 gold per month, 6 vassals. Here is Wulfric the Wild. He's in Nottingham. 2 gold per month, 0 vassals. I can't click on it, but right there, that green spot right there, that is Sherwood Forest. So if you're looking to get Robin to help you, you have to have a territory near that. So either Yorkshire or Nottingham. I don't think you can do it from either side, but I could be wrong on that. I haven't tried, to be honest. Lincolnshire, 3 gold, 12 vassals. Really, the gold's the only thing I care about right now. Let's go with Gwynedd, 2 gold and 16 vassals. This is the one that I can't pronounce. That's not what I meant to click. This one here. This is Leicester, 2 gold, 10 vassals. Over here we have Cambridge, 5 gold, 6 vassals. Over here we have Reginald Front de Buff. This is the first guy that we could not select because he is Norman. And the Normans are our enemies. So Reginald Front of Beef, that's as far as I know how it translates, 6 gold per month, 0 vassals. We're going to have to take him out. He's in Norfolk. Then we have, let's go with Glamorgan, 1 gold per month, 16 vassals, and probably not one of the ones that I care too much about. This is probably a good one. Yeah, this is Gloucester, 7 gold per month, 12 vassals. So that's going to be what I go for first. Over here we have Edmund the Grim. That is another Norman character, 8 gold per month, 0 vassals. So he's got a lot of money coming in. I think we looked at this one already. Yeah, that's Cambridge. This is Buckingham. This is where London is, in case you were curious. Essex, east of London, 6 gold per month, 8 vassals. And then the bottom row here, we have Cornwall, 8 gold per month, 0 vassals. Roger Falconbridge, that is another Norman. So 8 gold per month, 0 vassals, and he's doing pretty well for himself. Dorset, 4 gold, 6 vassals. Over here is Hampshire, 3 gold, 8 vassals. And then finally we have Sussex, 7 gold, 8 vassals. So this one and this one are your most profitable. In case you weren't keeping track, these 3 up here are Saxons. These 3 down here are Normans. So in order to beat the game, we have to conquer all the Normans. Most people try to conquer everybody. You don't have to. You can just take out the Normans. But you know, you get a lot of money if you kind of unite all of England in this. So we can look at ourselves real quick just so I can get out of this screen. Okay, so that's the read map button. Useful. Notice, though, it doesn't tell you anything about armies. Armies are going to be important. You need to keep track of them kind of on your own. This is the stuff that I've figured out as I've played the game a little bit. You can hold a tournament. There's no point in doing that in the first turn. I'll tell you that right now. No point in doing that the first turn because unless you're going for fame, but I wouldn't recommend doing that. Normally, when you're going for the tournament route for victory, you want to conquer land. And you can't take people's like home territory. So right now you couldn't take any land even if you wanted to. You can seek conquest. That's what we're going to be doing eventually. We can go raiding. That's where you try to make it to the end of a little mini game in order to try to get some money from people. Like these 2 right here are probably the ones that I want to take money from. They get 8 gold per month. And yeah. That means they're probably going to have a little bit. And then we can build the army. So we're going to build the army and then we'll see conquest. So let's start by building the army. I have 9 gold. Let's just go all soldiers here. And I believe if I right click and then left click, I get 9 at a time. Or sorry, I get 5 at a time. So little trick there. Let's go ahead and continue. Now that I have that, let's seek the conquest. We'll build the campaign army. Now, this is where it gets a little sketchy, but we're going to put all of our troops in there. Every last one of them goes into the campaign army. Why am I doing that? Because until there is just 2 players left, apparently they never attack your home base. That's what I'm told. So we're going to stick with that. Let's send forth the campaign army. Remember which ones, the 2 territories I wanted, this one and this one. So we're going to take this one. And we're off to a tournament already. That is not good. So I didn't call a tournament. Somebody else did. But we get to see a tournament. The graphics are so good in this game. Reginald Front to Buff has announced a tournament at Ashby. Everybody is showing up. Once again, all the text on the screen, it's going to go too fast for me to read all the way through. The tournament begins... Okay, so I do get to choose, at least. Let's go with, who's the weakest here? I think I have it listed. Let's type in buff here. Okay, so jousting, the weakest is Edmund the Grim. He's the only one that's comparable to me. So I'm going to go for him, and... he has no spare land, which is fine. I don't want to risk land. We're going for fame. All right. So this is a mini game, and I didn't mean to show it off this early, but at least we get to show it off. I'm going to be this guy over here. Our enemy is going to be over here. He's going to be blue. My goal is to point my lance at the middle of his shield, which is about here. So let's put my cursor there. Look how much that flops. And down I go. Thus ends your day in the lists at Ashby. You were not the champion, but your deeds will be remembered. Leaving for home, you vow to return and bring glory to your name. So that is why we are not going with the... that's why we're not going the jousting route. Because my character is bad at it. Did you see how much it was bouncing up and down? I called it flopping. But yeah, that bounce, it was so much because Jeffrey is not good at jousting. That is the reason for that. So we're going to start trying to conquer a little bit more here. Hopefully nobody takes my territory. What we're going to do is build an army, and we're going to basically do this every turn. We build the army, seek conquest, send forth the campaign army, send them back to the home base, which is a free move. It's kind of weird how this works. Build the campaign army, put everybody in there, and then send them forth, and we will go here. Let's see, anybody take this? Because, yeah, I was about to say, because I don't have anybody there, they can take it. You can't, like, station a garrison or anything like that. What you can do is build a castle, but those are very expensive, and I don't have enough money for that, so we're not going to. Yep, yeah, I know. There we go. 23. And then we will seek conquest, send forth the army, send them back here, and they have returned home. Build the army. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. That is a lot of soldiers. I need a knight. So we'll send forth the army and conquer this territory, and that consumes my turn. Nobody should be attacking me at this point, but I do have an income of 6, so hooray. Okay, let's go ahead and build the army again. Like I said, I'm going to be doing this a lot. This is the strategy, though. Like, we're going kind of on an all-out offensive. It doesn't look like it, but that is what we are doing. Okay, return home. Build the army. I need more knights, but I need money for that. Okay, 72. Send forth the army, and these guys might still be here. I'm hoping they're not. They're not. All right. My campaign army is being attacked. We're going to hover over here. If I need to, I'm going to run. Wild retreat if I need to. We're good. We're good. Have at you. Only lost, it looks like, one soldier? Like, you don't lose a lot when you outnumber them. My campaign army's being attacked again. People like this territory. They want it. They cannot have it. All right, wild retreat. Nope. 69 versus 9. I lost one. One guy was not very smart. Should have thrown rocks at them. That might have been better. Okay, will you rescue her? I will. The Normans had kidnapped a Saxon lady. Will you stage a rescue? And we're going to go through another minigame here. And this minigame is the same that it would be in raids. And this is what our character is good at. This is what Geoffrey Longsword is good at. Raids. So we get this, and then we get this. Apparently, if you stay on this screen long enough, a shooting star might show up, but I haven't been paying enough attention to catch it yet. All right, so we're controlling the guy on the right. I control him with my mouse. I can click and I can tell him where to go. Go. Just go over there and keep on stabbing. All right, guy's down. And now we can make it onto this next stage. And I've heard a couple different strategies for this one. I'm just going to go straight on and hope for the best. Okay. And then just button mash, hopefully, to victory. I feel like I'm hitting them. Button mash, go for it. Just click, 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 click. I've never won one of these, but I've also had a character that was bad at this, so I'm hoping for the best here. Click! Get him! Down he goes, and we've won! You make it to the castle's inner sanctum. Now, if you raid, you get money for doing this, but since we rescued a maiden, we get a maiden. She accompanies you to your castle, and during the weeks that follow, gratitude turns to love. Then late one night, and we get a 1986 video game sex scene. Like, it'll be fine, in case you're wondering, but, like, this is very risque for 1986 in video games. Oh my. That's not what the English flag looks like. That probably shouldn't be my focus at this point. I'm also told that, like, this is very see-through in one particular frame, that you can, like, freeze frame it and get a little bit more out of it, but it's never been worth my time to figure that out. I've heard that. And we embrace! And hooray! I have rescued a maiden and she is now my wife. That is the implication here. Does that do anything for me in the game? Probably not. It was Rosalind, by the way. And now our income is 13, and my treasure is very high. And Rosalind's going to be here for hopefully the rest of the game as I try to conquer. So we're going to build an army. I want a catapult, a knight, and 4 soldiers. We're like, there's no point in keeping money. Like, it doesn't get interest. Like, just go for it. All right, so send forth the army. We'll go here. We'll return home. Build the army. And I feel like we should be good here. So send it forth and send it forth again, and we're going to try to conquer. If this doesn't work, I'm going to be upset, but it'll be okay. Remember, we only really need to conquer the Normans. A lot of people try to go up and around, but in my experience, when you try to do that, these Norman guys build up way more money, and then they're so much harder to deal with. So we're just going to go for them first. This guy just happens to be in the wrong spot, but remember, that one territory does do a lot for him. All right, you prepare to lay siege to the castle. Let's go for it. And honestly, we haven't had a chance to use Robin Hood. This would be a good time to use it, but I think he gives you knights. Okay, so this minigame is you have to try to gauge the distance on the rock here. Perfect. And then once you get it right, people say either 1 or 2 pixels up. Nah, that was 2. There, that's 1 pixel. So in my experience, it is 1 pixel. This is my first time doing it, so I'm not entirely sure. There, and we have done it. We have breached the wall. Just made enough holes so that we can go to a fight, and once again we have to prepare to see if we need to run. Nope, because the army's not even here. Did anybody die? Somebody still died. Did you hit your head or something looking for soldiers? How did you die? And my campaign's army's being attacked. I should have a large army compared to everybody else. Yeah, we're fine. If you do have a lot of knights, people do recommend the ferocious attack, but I don't have a lot of knights, so we are fine. All right. So we have conquered one of the guys. This is going to be our next conquer, that guy right there. Hopefully I can deal with him. Okay. 29 each. That is awesome. Okay. Let's build our army again, and we're going to go for 1 knight, 1 catapult, and 6 soldiers. I feel like that I don't need the other catapult, but we're going to go for it. All right, seek conquest, set forth the campaign army. You can just click. As long as it's continuous, I believe, you can always kind of go back to your main base. You don't have to go each way. Build the army. Okay, so I didn't need to get the catapult, but having a second catapult's not the worst thing in the world, but they can sabotage you. And then, like, I can't send it out all the way over there. Okay. Now, this is the riskiest part of the whole game. This is going to make or break it right now. We're going to try to conquer this. I don't think they're going to have a large army here because they have this down here. I think you can only do that where your campaign army is. Remember, that was a good income area as well. So if I do this, then like everybody else is screwed. So let's go here. And as long as I win this, we should be good to go. Okay, so I think it's somewhere around here. Perfect. Up 1. Nope, that was 2. Nope, nope. There. Okay. Up 1. Up 1. Like, you gotta keep super close track of this. 1 pixel is the difference between you doing it right and you failing. It'll either go too hard and go over the wall or land in front of the wall if you're just 1 pixel off. Yeah, we're fine. We got this. Have at you. I think I lost 3 soldiers. And we have won all that territory. We lost a little bit along the way. That's fine. That's fine. I wish the Saxon was on my side, but whatever. And I am taking that back. I am taking that back. And I'm going to use Robin of Locksley to help me do that. All right, 46 income. Get in. All right. Build the army. One more knight should be fine. I'm told that it should be somewhere in the range of like 30 to 1. So do with that what you will. I don't know if that's entirely accurate, but that is what I am told. All right, send forth the campaign army. Go back here. You have returned home. Build the campaign army. Everybody get in. Okay, that is a hell of an army. Like I said, though, we are going to go ask Robin of Locksley for help. Okay, so there's Nottingham, there's Sherwood Forest. And I want to show off every part of the game, and this is definitely one of it, and this is the time to do it. Because knights are good in the field, and we're about to attack a guy in the field. Alright, I expected you. I will send enough men to help you in this endeavor. And this is one of 3 times that we can use Robin. I did so much research for this game. Luckily, there was research for me to find. And, what was it? Nobunaga's Ambition? I couldn't find anything. This one. No. Send forth. Okay, so we go here. And then straight in. Let's deal with it. Yeah. His campaign army is in that territory. There's no way for you to know other than to pay attention. Like the other guy's stuff is here. Stand and fight. Yeah. Have at you. This is going to be an easy victory. I think he gave us like 10 soldiers and 2 knights, something like that. Really, dude? Really? I'm trying to conquer everything here. Let me do it. Leave me alone. You've taken all of Wales. I'm not sure what that's doing for you, but congratulations on taking Wales. Okay, build the army again. We will go with 2 more knights and the rest in soldiers. Okay. And then we will see conquest. And for the record, when you go raiding, you can raid any castle that you want. So if I wanted to raid him, I could. Send forth the army back home. And then build the army. Look how much I need. There we go. 146, 5, and 2. Okay, there. And then here. Like, notice that I can't, like, just end my turn whenever I want. So, like, all of this kind of has to happen. No surprise. Oh, you coming for me? I don't know. And we don't know who's coming for me. I should be fine. I don't think anybody's going to have my army at this point. How about you? You have won the territory. You're damn right I did. And I get another 49 income. Yeah, Jeffrey, like, I went with him because I wanted to raid, and then I only ended up raiding to get the maiden anyway. So that didn't really work out all that well for me. 1 more night. Rest in soldiers. I can still make it. It's just going to be a little bit longer now. Seek conquest, set forth the campaign army, return home. Once again, he should not conquer anything here. All right, build the campaign army, and this is probably going to do it. There's a part of me that says I should go deal with, is it Wulfric? I've already forgotten who that is. Up north, but you know what? No, we won't. Yeah, we will. Yeah, we'll take him out first. Lord Cedric of Rotherwood, you've been a pain in my ass for a while. Yeah, he's got 13. Okay. And is he going to try to conquer? My campaign army is being attacked. Oh, by him again? Because he can't attack me. How much could you possibly have? 16 soldiers? All right, you got rid of 6 of mine, I think. Yeah, all right. He's being a pain in my ass. Do I deal with him? No, I go for the conquest. That is what we're here to do. All right, so 1, 2, and then the rest here. And then, you know, we just kind of go for victory. I could try to take him out, but this guy's going to deal with stuff. Like, it's just better for me to just go for victory here. Even if I lose that territory again, as long as I conquer that one, he shouldn't be able to conquer that. Because I do need to hold all 3 Norman castles for victory here. All right, that is the biggest army that I've ever seen in this game. So let's hope for the best here. Go there. Yeah, his stuff is there, but like I said, I haven't seen a bigger number than like 120 before, so I think we'll be okay. Yeah, catapult's not useful on the field, only useful against a castle. All right, and he takes that back. my campaign army's being attacked by him, which means he's going to have a little bit of defense, but not a lot. He should have just kept it. Yeah, he was able to afford 12. Good for him. I lost 1. All right. Hopefully last turn here. And then I'm coming for you, bud. I'm not coming for him. The game will be over. Oh, no! My mighty siege engines are reduced to piles of scrap. Alright, so yeah, the Norman rogues, they show up every once in a while. There's 2 things that they can do, I am told. They can either destroy your siege engines, which means your catapult, or they can take half of your income for the month. I have 49. That means I can afford 2 more siege engines just fine, because they only cost 15. So not the worst thing in the world. I only need 1. Alright, build my army. 1... and then soldiers. I know. But you knew what I meant. Okay. See, conquest. Come back here. I have delayed things long enough. Like I said, I only need the 1. You only need the 1 catapult. So a lot of people say only use 1. Just never get more than 1. Okay, sally forth. Because, yeah, if he goes for that, like, technically, yeah, it should be fine because this ends the game once I do this. All right, you prepare to lay siege to the castle. Am I going to get it right the 3rd time? Because, like I said, I hadn't really practiced this. A lot of these castles look the same, but it's a very nice picture that they draw here. Okay. I want to say it's like there. Nope, that is too low. There we go. 1 up. No. Went over. Another 1 up. 1 up. That's good. That was 2. That's 1. 1 more. So we got to see it low and high now. And then we see victory. Let me guess. 20 soldiers? Tops. 0. How about you? One of my soldiers tripped over, like got trampled or something, and you have won the territory, and that should be the game. Final victory! You have defeated the last enemy lord and restored peace to the once divided land. Now it is time to crown a new king, a Saxon king. Robin and the men of Sherwood accompany you to the palace in triumph. Entering the crowded throne room, you recall the scene here so many months ago and remember an old friend who ruled the kingdom with fairness and compassion. Couldn't read it. Robin has produced the crown as if by magic. He was the thief who took the symbol of power after the king's death. His men have been guarding the crown in Sherwood Forest to prevent it from falling into the hands of the Normans. Great and broadly, the noble outlaw turns the crown over to the archbishop, who begins a ceremony that will make you king of England. And we have done it! The end. And I think the music's starting to loop a little bit here, so that will do it. We have beaten Defender of the Crown, and with the game played, it's time to talk about how it holds up today. Playing the game today, I definitely had fun playing Defender of the Crown. It's a fun game, but in hopes of complete transparency, I did play the game previously. I have the footage playing for you now of my first attempt at it, and I struggled. There was a lot that I wasn't fully understanding about the game because the game didn't give me a lot of information in the manual. I did find some guides to help, but ultimately I had to watch somebody else play it in order to understand how the game actually worked. So there's kind of a learning curve to the game, and it's not necessarily one that is going to be resolved by reading the manual. So in those kinds of cases, I do have to give it a little bit of a knock, but it's still a fun game. By far, the best part of the game is the graphics. The graphics and the sound. The graphics, I think, are by and large some of the best graphics that we have seen in any video game to this point, let alone a home game. Like, this is comparable to, I would say, the Sega racing games like Outrun and Hang On and stuff like that. It's comparable to that, but this is a home computer game, and that is a lot harder to program these kinds of graphics on. So this game is gorgeous for the time. And I do think that the graphics actually hold up very well. I think that the graphics still look good. I think that the timing of everything kind of throws it a little under, but really the graphics themselves, the pixel art that was done, I think is very good. With that said, the sound is also good. It's just not quite as good as the graphics, but you know, there were multiple sounds playing at the same time, and that's not always the case for computer games. And I think that the intro music is definitely the standout track, if there is such a thing in this game. But overall, the sound is quite good. And I think that it holds up well. There's nothing wrong with any of the sound in the game. So I think that the graphics and sound, the technical aspects of the game, are the highlights of the game. Which kind of means that the plot and gameplay are kind of the weaker sides of the game, at least for me. The plot isn't, there's not a lot. It's historical. It's conquer England, more or less. You don't have to take out the Saxons. You can just go after the Normans, which kind of brings a little bit of strategy to the game. But ultimately, the plot isn't, there isn't a lot. It's probably about like 30 minutes of plot if we're talking a movie, because the game tries to play like a movie. There's something there. It's just not quite a lot, and I don't really know how to fix that for this genre. It's not really necessary, but you know, I do want to point out that the plot was a little thin, but once again, it's a strategy game. What are you going to do? But overall, I think that the gameplay is probably the game's weakest standpoint, and I don't think it holds up particularly well. It was fairly easy once I figured out what I needed to do, how to do it. We didn't get to see me earlier on, at least, win any jousts. Hopefully you guys are seeing me win some jousts in this run, because I did win a couple jousts with Ivanhoe. I can't remember his first name at this point, but I chose, I think it's Sir Wilfred of Ivanhoe. I chose him, and he's average, basically. He's the middle level of jousting. So I got to experience a lot when I was trying to do kind of a jousting run, because I heard that was the fastest way to beat the game. But when I went for the jousting, I chose the wrong character, right? I chose Wilfred of Ivanhoe instead of the guy that was really good at jousting, whose name also escapes me at this point. But because of that, it felt like my skill didn't really have a lot to do with whether I was winning the joust or not. It felt like the game just kind of decided sometimes the bouncing is going to be higher and you're going to lose based on who you're up against, and sometimes you're going to win because it's not bouncing as high. So it felt like it wasn't really in my control, but maybe I was 1 or 2 pixels off. As we saw in the Siege minigame, 1 or 2 pixels can really make all the difference. But really, at the end of it, the gameplay in the minigames, I think, is what stood out as what aged the worst, because the jousting was just kind of move your mouse in the right position. That's how you win. Maybe. And then Siege was basically find how far down you need to move the catapult, then move it up 1 pixel each time, and then you win. And then raiding was more or less just go to the right and button mash. Just click the mouse as fast as you can, and then you'll win. So it didn't feel like there was a lot going on in the minigames. And then when it comes to the actual conquering, Oh, I should point out before we move on from the minigames, because I don't think I fully explained jousting. You can win land, but not the home territory. I think I explained that a bit this run. So if you do go the jousting route, it's really just to get money to build up your army and then instantly go for an attack. That's kind of your goal with the jousting run. That's a harder run than what I did, but it is definitely possible. So you can just kind of take over all the free territory, get all the money from that, and then conquer a castle and kind of rinse and repeat. So you can't do a tournament every round. It has to be every other round. So you host a tournament, conquer territories, use that money to conquer a castle, and then rinse and repeat. So that's kind of the strategy, and I'm told it works, but this is a much easier strategy, the one that I went for. But the game is short. Most runs of the game seem to be about 20-30 minutes. If you're going well, and by the end of 20-30 minutes, if you haven't won, you kind of already know, you knew that you lost. The strategy for it is not nearly as complex as we have seen in Nobunaga's Ambition and Romance of the Three Kingdoms. It's much more streamlined. The fact that you can't see where the army is, you can't really see how much money people have, you can only see their income. And once again, I never figured out what the vassals did. Maybe they give us money, but it didn't feel like it. It felt like I was just kind of getting money from normal income whenever I conquered an area. It didn't feel like they were giving me money or giving me an army or anything like that as I was going. And it really just kind of becomes a steamroll. So once you kind of know what you're doing, the game gets a lot easier. And it gets so easy that I would say I have no interest in going back and doing it again, unless I was going for that jousting run, going for a different character and trying to win by jousting. But at the end of the day, I wasn't really a fan of the mini games, so it's not really something that interests me all that much, even though jousting had the prettiest pictures. But we saw basically all the pictures available in the game. Except for the maidens, there's like 4 maidens, but they basically kind of look the same, just different hair, I think was the main thing that I saw in the pictures. So ultimately, is this a game that I would recommend to a modern audience? Ultimately, I'm going to say no. Even though I had fun playing the game, most of the fun of the game comes from the graphics and the sound. So watching the game is what I would recommend. And I've said that for a lot of other games, but this one, I think it's much more stark of a difference. It's much starker of, like, this is a game to watch. This is not necessarily a game to play. If you don't know entirely all the little mechanics of the game, you didn't know that you're supposed to send your campaign army back to home base, because that's not explained to you, so you can build up the army again. You're going to get frustrated and not understand what's going on in the game. This is a much more fun game to watch than it is to play, in my experience. So this is a game that I would not really recommend outside of people that are interested in the setting, right? If you're interested in kind of the Norman conquest of England and the Saxon Rebellion, then of course this will have something for you. If you're a big fan of Robin Hood or Ivanhoe, this will have something for you. If you're a big fan of strategy games and wanted to see kind of the progression in the different markets, this has something for you. But ultimately, I think that this is a game that is much prettier than it is fun. And that's my kind of modern take on it. And I'm sure there's going to be people that disagree with me, but for me, the graphics are so much better than the gameplay that the gameplay almost looks bad by comparison. And so it's difficult for me to recommend this to somebody that is looking for a fun video game. This makes for a much better video at the end of the day. And that's my modern take on the game. When the game was released, Defender of the Crown would be popular. By 1989, it was reported that the game sold over 750,000 copies. It would have lasting sales power on the market, reportedly selling over 1 million copies by 2001. Critics at the time loved the game. In particular, the graphics of the game were praised. Defender of the Crown was seen as setting a new standard for what games, especially games for the Amiga, were capable in terms of graphics and animation. Jim Sachs was considered a genius by many critics for what he was able to do. Some critics, however, would say that the gameplay of the game was the game's weak spot, with some saying it was just adequate. As time has gone on, Defender of the Crown has largely retained its positive reputation. Many modern critics have praised the game's graphics, especially for the time when it was released. Others have complained about the game's gameplay and said it has not aged well. Despite that, Defender of the Crown will occasionally make lists of best video games of all time. Defender of the Crown would see ports, a sequel, and remakes. We will keep an eye on these as we continue. As for Cinemaware, the company would use the success of Defender of the Crown to establish themselves in the video game industry. We will hear from Cinemaware again, although perhaps only briefly. As for the individual creators of the game, they would also continue to create video games. We will hear from them again, although once again, perhaps only briefly. That will do it for the story of Defender of the Crown for now. My name is ballerscuba. This has been Video Games Over Time. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in our next video when we take it to the hole.